with the brick stack high. Lego Batman swoops, lighting up the sky. Legacy of the Dark Knight, looking so fine. Got that reggae rhythm, games divine. Click clack, plastic capes in the breeze. Villains trembling, falling to their knees. From Arkham's ashes, a Lego star's born. This game's so hot, it's Rasta reborn. Oh, Lego Batman, legacy of the Dark Knight, shining so bright, it's still in the fight. Game of the year 2026, it's true. GTA 6 crying, what we gonna do? A Lego game picking up Arkham's crown. Suicide Squad, y'all let us down. Rastabat cave with a brick built vibe. Lego Dark Knight keeping hope alive. Batarang snapping, built from Lego blocks. Penguins waddling, but he's out of stock. Suicide Squad tried, but he crashed and burned. Should have been like this, man, lessons learned. GTA 6, Vice City's looking shook. Lego Batman's got them shook in their books. A toy game taking Arkham's holy grail. Tasty Capes winning, that's the funny tale. Oh, Lego Batman, legacy of the Dark Knight, shining so bright, it's still in the fight. Game of the year 2026, it's true. GTA 6 crying, what we gonna do? A Lego game picking up Arkham's crown. Suicide Squad, y'all let us down. Rastabat cave with a brick built vibe. Lego Dark Knight keeping hope alive. Yo, Rocksteady, what happened, man? Your squad game flop, left us all withdrawn. Lego's got the mantle, carrying the flame. A brick built Batman running the game. GTA 6 calling your West scared. Lego Bruce Wayne got 'em unprepared. Jah bless the bricks, this game's the one. 2026, Batman's having too much fun. Oh, Lego Batman, legacy of the Dark Knight, shining so bright, it's still in the fight. Game of the year 2026, it's true. GTA 6 crying, what we gonna do? A Lego game picking up Arkham's crown. Suicide Squad, y'all let us down. Fade out with the bass in the Gotham light. Lego Batman, Irie taking flight.
There you go. There you go. One of you asks for reggae Batman. I'm happy to oblige. Happy to oblige. I aim to do nothing but please you. You're welcome. Don't even have to ask about it. Don't even have to ask. It just happens. That's how it works. Oh my God. We're off to the races today. Tell you what. Oh no, I was going to show you a video, but somebody hid their video. Okay, I guess we don't look at their video. Oh, sucks to suck. This is another good song I came across that is kind of a bop and a vibe too. This is from a guy named Jared Goldsmith. He does a lot of like musical renditions of stuff, but he also wrote a song about GTA 6.
We had 3 Star Wars sequels and 2 Game of Thrones prequels and a 2-4 film dicks, all before GTA 6. Breaking Bad had ended, and Better Call Saul, that was splendid, and a sequel to White Chicks, all before GTA 6. Before GTA 6, all before GTA 6. 9 seasons of Morty and Rick, all before GTA 6. Since GTA 5, there's been 40 seasons of Fortnite, and 5 Despicable Minion movies in 4 presidential terms, over 30 MCU films, and they're gonna keep making us squirm. We had 16 kinds of iPhones, AI in a Vegas dome, and a global pandemic, and all of Stranger Things on Netflix. All before, but we just want more. Grand Theft Auto 6. This song online will get 10K clicks. All before GTA 6. We're never getting that game. November 19th.
Dude, yeah, 40 seasons of Fortnite broke my brain. Also, like 30 Marvel movies. Damn. That's outrageous. 4 presidential terms in the US. I mean, like, it's enough to make you cry. There you go. It's funny because it's true. It sure is. Yeah, I recommend you go follow him. He's got a lot of comedy songs kind of like that, and they're all quite good. So anyway, that I came across and I thought that was funny, so I figured I would share it with you. Real quick, just before we get into it, I want to say thank you everybody for being here. We are on a bit of a time crunch today. Got some stuff going on later, so we've got to blast through it. As a result, don't send me money. Okay? I will get distracted with super chats. The only super chats I will read will be the like $10 plus. So if you really want to send me money, I'm not going to stop you because YouTube won't let me. But don't send me money. Keep it. I'm doing okay. You can see the message there to keep the pacing good. I'm only going to read 10 plus. Stop giving me money. Okay? Please and thank you. Okay? Reverse psychology. Dude, I've actually put in a request with YouTube to like, can I manually turn off like toggle super chats, like even within a certain range or something? And they don't do that because they're like, why would anybody want to turn off receiving money for individual streams? I'm like, because I can't focus. It's a problem. God damn it. See what I mean? Jesus. Say it right here. Thank you for that, Plot Coalition. Very generous. Hey, Luke, fan of the channel. I make CG films in Unreal Engine. Might be interested in checking out. Currently making a Helldiver series. Keep up the great work. Always appreciate the insight. Thank you for letting me know. That sounds cool. I will pull up your, I'm assuming it's on your, like this channel. Go-to channel. I will pull that up. I've got it pulled up in another tab. Thank you for that. Heroes of the Galactic War. Oh, that seems interesting. That's really cool. Yeah, you guys should check that out. That's really cool. I will pull that up. Thank you, my friend. I'll check those out. That seems really cool. That's badass. That's badass. Badass, dare I say. Immediately distracted. How dare you? Okay, what is this? Well, the first thing I want to talk about is not that surprising. New segment. Sony don't give a crap about none of yo bull crap. It's official. They've actually come out. They actually said it that exact way in their meeting with investors. You see, what they did is they had a sort of earnings presentation, and they did an investor Q&A, which is something they do regularly, where Sony executives go up and then take questions from investors. Most of these investors are like the big institutional guys. They're not mom and pop investors. You know, these are like the guys that run the fund that owns $300 million in Sony stock, right? So it's like the big movers and shakers. They want to keep them happy. And during this Q&A, they were asked several questions about their current strategies and all of that. For Sony's a big company. People don't realize like one of Sony's biggest cash cows in terms of business is actually like life insurance in Japan. Who knew? But they have they got a lot of pots on the stove, but they have a very diversified business. Even still, the vast majority of revenue comes from their gaming division. It's like their true bread and butter. And so naturally, investors will ask them a lot of questions about that side of their business, which is always Interesting. And what is this article in particular? Well, IGN wrote about it. Sony says discontinuation of PlayStation 6 won't have any negative impact on its business now or in the future. And actually, specifically, their CFO said directly, basically, like, try harder, losers. Like, that's effectively what they said. What is this specifically? Well, of course, we all know that Sony announced that they're going to be discontinuing physical hardware or physical media starting January of 2028. They're giving a runway. It seems to time out pretty much exactly with when the PlayStation 6 will be coming. So it looks like that's not going to have a disc drive. They're not going to do any physical stuff. They might support like external CD drives for games that released prior to that deadline, but that's why I kind of suspect that it's going to be for the PlayStation 6, because then they don't have to do that. Like, any PlayStation 6 game is going to be digital only, and I think that's how they're handling it. But if you have not seen the blowback, you must not be on Twitter, which is probably good for you. But it's been very, very clear that gamers are not thrilled about this. The uproar has been loud. Let's just say they've been regularly ratioed in almost every post they've made on social media, both on like Twitter, but then also places like Instagram. They are often being ratioed, just, you know, getting flooded with comments of people calling them out. However, Sony doesn't think it makes much of a difference. Speaking during an investor-focused Q&A during this first fiscal quarter financial results, Sony CFO Lin Tao answered multiple questions about the company's decision to kill discs, which has sparked a backlash online. Tao was asked if Sony saw any impact now or in the future, which will see PlayStation disc production come to an end in 2028. And she said, quote, "We are not seeing any impact on our business as of now. Going forward, about the content, sales, large part is already digitized. Therefore, as a result of the discontinuation of a disc, we don't see that there will be any negative impact on our business. However, as I already said, the users, the players have attachments, and we have to think about how we respond to those feedbacks." I mean, we're not going to do anything, but we have to think about it. You know, we're not going to like respond or like change our mind. We're just gonna like think about what they are saying and then do other things that don't make them happy, but that move on, you know. That's how we do it. Earlier in the Q&A, Tao said that Sony, quote, wouldn't change its mind while acknowledging, this is the most corpo thing ever, strong views from the video game community. In other words, their customers, you know, like, that's what's really shocking, is that they're like, yeah, there's some strong opinions coming from some. It's like, bro, that's your audience. But here's the first little thing. We are not seeing any impact on our business as of now. Frankly, what would that impact even be? Like, they've not done it yet, so what would the expected influence on their bottom line be? People are still going to buy games that they already were buying. They still are going to play the games on their PlayStations that they already have. So their behaviors aren't really changing. The only thing that maybe could change or have an impact would be if those like quote unquote blackout weeks or days would actually have an impact, but I don't think those are going to be very widespread. Personally, I would love to be wrong, but I've been around the block enough to know that when people say we're going to not play PlayStation for a week to show them we're not happy, most people will make it 12 hours and then they're going to boot up that night and be like, well, it's just me. And then everybody says that. And then pretty soon the whole thing falls apart. I would love for people to string together and make their voices heard. I'd be surprised if it does anything. And even if it has some sort of quantifiable impact on like revenue, which is all they care about, it's going to go back to normal when people go back to their PlayStations at the end of the blackout. So, you know, I don't think that'll do much. What would actually have an impact is if they launch the PlayStation 6 and people just don't buy it. I mean, that would be an oopsie. if they launch that and then people are saying they're not going to buy it specifically because, not because it's necessarily expensive, which it will be, but people are saying that they're not buying it because of the lack of physical media, the lack of consumer protections, stuff like that, then you might actually see an adjustment in behavior, but that's all speculative right now. And we are talking about like a year and a half from now in early 2028. So it's really hard to say, frankly, what the impact will be. My thought has always been that I think Sony is going to, well, they announced it at this point because they're expecting and hoping that people will just kind of have forgotten about it and move on by the time this happens. Like, we'll see the PlayStation 6 revealed and it's like, oh yeah, no physical media. Yeah, they announced that like a year ago, I think. Anyway, like, I think that that's what they're relying on, is just that people will move on, get bored, as it were. They continued. The online backlash continued to call, as gamers continued to call on Sony to U-turn its decision, signing online petitions and swarming over PlayStation social media posts to express concern about video game preservation and ownership, even overshadowing the release of new games that have nothing to do with what's going on at Sony. Meanwhile, backers of physical media have called on gamers to boycott PlayStation for a week in August to send a message to Sony that its decision to kill discs from 2028 is unacceptable. Complaints have also come from other groups. The UK's Digital Entertainment and Retail Association, or ERA, for example, called Sony's decision a quote-unquote triumph of corporate convenience over consumer choice. When Sony announced its decision, it said it was simply following consumer trends. Quote, in response to shifting trends in consumer preference, new games will be released on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only, said Sid Schumann, Senior Director of SIE Content Communications. Yeah. I think, they don't care about Twitter. They are going to do what they're going to do. And I think the only way you see any sort of behavioral change, again, is if, for one, gamers actually act on their disdain and frustration. And then also if we see like Xbox doing the opposite. Like I think personally, Project Helix probably does not have physical media either. I think that's been the plan since like 2022. There were always little hints and insinuations from like Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer where they were like suggesting that, well, the future is digital and the future, they would say stuff like that. I would not be surprised if Helix is not being designed with physical media in mind. That being said, I think they could go and try to go the opposite direction of this. And, for example, have like an official external disk drive or external SD card slot or whatever it ends up being. And they support physical media, even if, the console, the main body of the console itself is digital. And I think that would go a long way with a lot of people. Just to have that option, especially when it comes to like backwards compatibility and stuff. I think that would excite people. One of the reasons why Sony is not expected to reverse this decision, though, is because they have a massive plant. I believe it's the largest plant that manufactures Blu-rays like in the world. If not, it's one of them. And it's in Austria, I believe. And they have already started like scaling down that factory and that plant. And they are redoing it and replacing entire like arms of that factory with new machines and new equipment to make like micro lenses and stuff. Which, does anyone know what like micro lenses are used for? Can anybody take a wild, crazy guess? Why might Sony want to pivot away from discs and instead make micro lenses? It's because those micro lenses are used in lasers, yes, and in fiber optic data transmission, which you need for data centers. Yay! It's those little lenses that are used to like direct and use fiber optic cabling across massive data centers that need ridiculous bandwidth. Spy cameras is a fun answer too. It's just like tiny cameras. No, they're like little bitty lenses and stuff made for making fiber optic cables and things that allow for the internet to work. And so they're pivoting that way. It's for filthy clankers indeed. So with all this said, I don't think Sony's going to pivot away. I think they are fully committed. And frankly, her entire attitude, if you don't know Lin Tao, she is just like, she could be a character in Cyberpunk. I mean, she is just like the ultimate corpo, bite me kind of person. Like, does not give a crap, okay? They're going to do what they're going to do, whether you like it or not. They do not care. It is as corporate as you can imagine. So I don't think they're going to change. I think this is how it's going to be. Just like you remember what happened with frickin' Xbox circa 2013, 14, they were making a bunch of decisions that were insanely stupid. They said like, no, we're going to force you to buy a Kinect, whether you want to or not. You got to buy a Kinect in your Xbox One. It's also always online, and we're not going to allow you to share games. So if you bought a physical game, you cannot share it to somebody else. It's tied to your console. They did all this stuff. Everyone's like, what is wrong with you? And what happened? It went really bad for about a year. And then they started manually flipping on every decision that the previous management made, undoing all of that. That is unfortunately like the best case scenario for all of this, is that these decisions start to go bad in 2028 and Sony just screws up and consumers are pissed off and they're not buying the PlayStation 6. People are canceling their memberships because remember, they track all of this data. If they start to see that people who had PlayStation 5s and PlayStation accounts there, if they see that those people are all of a sudden right at like 2028, they're not upgrading to the PlayStation 6 and their playtime plummeted on PlayStation, they then see that those people moved over to PC. Ooh. Oh, that's not great. You know, that's when you could actually see, okay, maybe we need to change course. At that point, it'll be too late to add physical media back in because, again, those plants that make these things, you can't just casually Control Z that. Like, it's a literal factory. And if you change the factory to do something else, you can't just undo that. So at that point, physical media will just be what it's going to be. And unless there's a major player like Xbox that's willing to go out on a limb and try to keep it alive, it's going to be what it's going to be, unfortunately. Which is why, you know, if this is the new reality, which it appears to be, that's why the best case scenario for everybody is that there are then consumer protections, opening up of the platforms, stuff like that to protect consumer interests. Things like requiring Sony to have a same like return period policy like Steam does. That's something regulators could demand, that you did that. You know, the same thing with like Stop Killing Games. If you bought a license to a game, quote unquote license to a game, and then they decide to revoke it, you should get a refund. You bought it. You bought the thing. You should get a refund. You know, if you're going to take away the access of the physical media, we should still have some protections for the product that we bought. So the hope is that this, you know, is a domino, and it's not a domino we wanted to knock over, but if it's going to knock over, hopefully it knocks over 10 others that end up with broader consumer protections on the digital side of things. That's at least the hope. But yeah, if there's one takeaway from all this, it's that Lin Tao doesn't give a crap what you think and is going to do what she's going to do. Okay, they do not care. They do not care. They are fully committed to this digital future, and they do not want to pivot away from it if they can help it. So that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Let's see. I can bet whatever you want. I can't read. I can bet whatever you want that Sarah is trying so hard right now to try and add a disc to Helix. Oh, Asha is. I think
At Own Night donated £20 through
Probably.
Super Chat. Did you catch the Apple earnings report last night? Their Neo and Mini sales went through the roof. ARM is making us rethink how we use memory. Give it a year before Apple bridges the gap with Proton or approaches crossover.
dude, thank you for the 20. First of all, like super generous. But I think you're right. I did a segment just, did we do a clip? I think, hold on. We did a clip. Oh, yeah. It was on the Clips channel. I just did this like 3 weeks ago. Trevor clipped it. Apple might be quietly prepping for a gaming push. I encourage you to watch this if you haven't already, because I kind of ran through my thesis and everything that I think they're doing. There's a few videos that have been done on it. This particular one from Snazzy Labs breaks down some of the progress they have quietly been making on that frontier. And it's pretty insane. Like, casually updating something on the back end that totally overhauls the pipeline for how it calculates everything for these games. And it's seeing massive performance uplifts, like from 12 FPS to like 45, with nothing changed on like a base MacBook Pro. So just like imagine if Apple decided to actually commit and try, bro, game over. Game over. Could totally change stuff. Could totally change the industry. Just imagine if Apple came in and started swinging their big big fruit around. Dude, talk about pressure on Sony. Imagine the meltdown in those corporate offices. Like if Apple were to actually try, because they are the masters of hardware supply chains and economies of scale. I'm just saying, they're big nuts. I was trying to think of some long fruit, a banana. They're swinging their banana around, but it's Apple. It didn't really click. Anyway, I do think that the new CEO, John Ternus, he has expressed interest in new markets, and that's one of them.
$21 through Super Chat. Hey Luke, hope your feet don't smell.
You know, sometimes feet be feeding. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Thank you for the 21. Appreciate you. John Apple. Yes, the new CEO, John Apple. He has expressed an interest in new emerging markets and markets that are previously untapped. And that is one of them. Like gaming has been an area that Apple has never really gone close to, but Apple is able to scale in a way that like Xbox can't with their hardware. Because Apple can go and basically rent out half of TSMC and just be like, yeah, we need that capacity for all of our chips. By the way, we're going to use these same chips like the M5. We're going to use that in our next gen gaming device, which is going to have like performance in line with like a PS5 or a PlayStation 6 or whatever it is. And we're just going to put it through like Proton layers, just like Steam has done on Steam Machine and Steam Deck. There's no reason they couldn't do that. And at Apple's scale, it probably ends up being way more cost efficient and cost effective than anything else on the market. Like that could actually change things. That could really change things. I know people hear Apple and gaming and they roll their eyes, but like, dude, if anybody could actually go and like put pressure on Sony, it would be like the almost $5 trillion company that is Apple. Like Sony, just put it in terms of scale. Sony market cap is 138 billion. Okay. If you take every share of Sony and you multiply it by the market price, the estimated value of the entire company is 138 billion. Apple's market cap is 4.43 trillion. Okay. Now, they're having a rough day. My God. Why is Apple down 9.6%? Woof. What happened? Did John Apple find a worm? Oh yeah. It was Tim Cook. Tim Cook said that they have very significant component shortages. And if even Apple is having component shortages for hardware, that's not good. There's also rumors they're going to raise the price of iPhones like by hundreds of dollars, not just like $50, but like hundreds of dollars, which would be a mess. But anyway, John Apple off to a great start. He takes over September 1st, so you know he's in the home stretch. Tim Apple is almost done, and then it's John Apple's turn. Sure is. Let's see. Okay, yeah, anyway, long story short, Sony makes us sad. In my opinion, I don't think PlayStation will open their platform. They do need a robust change to their store for people to stay. PlayStation 6 might be their last console, in my opinion, and they just become full software publisher. No, I think Sony is very well aware that the only way that you really build out a platform is by having a hardware base to it, which is why they're pivoting away from PC. So, because I think also, just frankly, a lot of players were leaving PlayStation in order to go to PC. Like, why would you stay on PC if you can go, or why'd you stay on PlayStation if you could just move over to PC? Like, why would you do that? Especially if we're talking that the PlayStation 6 is going to be $1,200. Why would you do that? Why would you do that when you could just go to PC for about the same price, if not more? Like, PlayStation's latest video has the comments turned off. Most of them do recently, and I don't blame them. Like, they're just going to get blown out in the best way possible, you know, frankly. But because PC is still more expensive. If you're buying raw new components, yeah. But if you're going used components, or if you're going with like all-in-ones and pre-builts that can benefit from economies of scale, you can actually get pretty good deals on a lot of stuff. And even if you do end up spending more, you know, if it's going to be $1,200 for a PlayStation 6, and then you're like, ooh, or I could buy a PC for $2,000. That $2,000, that might be well worth it, especially when you consider like the regular deep sales that are available on PC, because it's an open marketplace, as opposed to PlayStation, which is totally locked down. Free multiplayer, you're not spending money every single month on multiplayer, things like that, you know, and you get a PC out of it, which is also a nice thing. Okay, this I wanted to look at this too. Okay. New segment. Yeah, you 100% spend less time or less overtime with PC and have a much better thing. It's hard for people that are not on PC to fully grasp it, but there have been studies and like research done on the average price for a suite of like 100 games. People can track them and compare the prices of those things to the price of the same game on PlayStation, on Nintendo Switch, on Xbox, and then they can compare it and see where is it on average cheaper, when it goes on sale, how deep is the sale, things like that. And it's not even close. Like, PC as a platform, quote unquote, is just a more cost-effective platform than any of the others. Which kind of makes sense, because if you don't want to buy it through Steam, you can buy it through Green Man Gaming. You can buy it through GOG. You can buy it through the Epic Game Store. And they're all competing against each other to get you to buy the game through their platform. On PlayStation, if you want to buy, I don't know, if you want to buy, let's use a recent example, Halo. If you want to buy Halo on PlayStation 5, it's just the PlayStation Store. Like, there's no, let me go check what it, like if it's on sale over on this other store on my PlayStation. No, it is just that one. So there's no real incentive to put it on sale except for occasional promotions. And even then, those sales are pretty shallow. So yeah, PlayStation is pulling all their exclusive games from PC. Well, and I think that is specifically because they saw that a lot of people were leaving PlayStation for PC. You remember Helldivers, the whole scandal where they were making everybody sign into a PlayStation Network account to play Helldivers? And people were like, what are you doing? This is stupid. It was such a weird hill to die on, right? The reason they were doing that is because if you signed into your PlayStation account on Steam and connected it, then PlayStation can see if you're starting to spend a lot more time on Steam versus PlayStation. They can look and be like, they used to spend 20 hours a week playing on PlayStation. They got Helldivers on PC. All of a sudden, they're only spending an hour a week on PlayStation. Or they've stopped completely. They're playing just on Steam. And then they track that across the other games. Like, well, they're buying God of War on PC. They bought this game on PC. They bought this game on PC, but they're not engaging on our platform at all. And they canceled their PlayStation Plus membership because they're playing their multiplayer games on PC now. There's a reason they asked for that data, so that they could track it, you know, so they could see the players' behavior change. And I think it's pretty clear that the data was suggesting that players were just moving to the platform that was more open, that didn't charge them an arm and a leg to play online, that was a better fit for them. Which is why now they're pulling back and they're like, okay, no more like first-party single-player stuff on PC. Because once again, it's the same lesson Xbox learned. If you can play your Xbox game anywhere, there's very little reason to stay with this particular hardware if there is a benefit elsewhere to having that hardware. So if you can buy Halo on PlayStation Why have an Xbox? Because at least on PlayStation you get Halo and you get all the stuff that's only on PlayStation, you know? And I think that's just what they realized. They used to think that PlayStation on games on PC would be additive, that it would bring new people into the fold. That doesn't seem to be what happened. It was siphoning players off of their ship, which is not what they wanted. Not what they wanted, especially because a lot of their money comes from those recurrent revenue pipelines like PlayStation Plus. The moment people start canceling that, it's a bad day. It's a bad day. Tell you what. Edgar, thank you for that one. For that 10. I just built a PC for half the price by selling my old PC components. I can't do that with the console. Was it still expensive? Yeah, it was. I bought Fallout 76 for $5. Think of the savings. Well, I mean, that's a good example. I mean, it's when you start to think of the massive savings regularly on big stuff, it adds up. And then again, not spending 10, 15, 20 bucks a month every single month for multiplayer, that adds up too. Buttery Cheeks, thank you for that 10. Luke, in the latest earnings report, Sony said that quote unquote Marathon is retaining and gaining new players. I thought it was illegal to lie to financial investors. Meanwhile, Marathon is on life support at 6K peaks. What we don't know are the PlayStation numbers. So it is very possible that they are telling the truth, that it is retaining numbers on PlayStation if you look at the broad suite of players. The other thing is, and this is what's kind of funny about that, where it's a lie through omission, maybe would be the better way of putting it. But for example, if I have a bucket, right? I got a bucket, and initially it's got all of these people in it. Okay, these are our players. All that blue water, the blue paint. This is all our players. If we go forward a month or a year or whatever, and we have this, like the same bucket, in this case, the bucket is Marathon, okay? It's the game. All of these people, almost all of them, could have flushed out and given up on the game and moved on. And now there's a new player base. New people that weren't playing the game before, that came over, got it on sale, because it turns out most players are only putting 30 hours in. And after that 30 hours, they leave. They just leak out. But new players come in and they put 30 hours in, and then they leave, and then it replaces. So over time, they are acquiring quote unquote new players. They're attracting new players, and they're retaining them for 30 hours, and then they lose them. But they are gaining new players. Yes, old ones are leaving, but we're gaining new ones too. I think that might be the asterisk on that statement that makes it not technically a lie. It's like, I guess, sort of, that makes sense, I suppose, sort of. But whenever you have to do that kind of thing to explain away what you just said, you should know what you're doing. I mean, come on. Let's see, Tammy, I can't read. Tan May Sarwa. Thank you. I watched Brand New Day today, and it was strangely uncomfortable and comforting at the same time in a good way. Also gave me vibes of 2018 Spider-Man game. Oh, really? I've not seen it. I don't know if it's good. Should I go see that? A lot of people said I need to go see the Odyssey. But a lot of people are saying if you're going to see Odyssey, you have to see it like in the IMAX theater, like the full 70-foot like real theater. And I think the closest one to me is like an hour and a half away, which is tough. But a lot of people said that we should do it. But Spider-Man, I don't know about Spider-Man. I don't know if that's good. I don't know. I'm not sure. I do feel bad for studios under Sony getting flamed on game posts for something they don't control. Poor Marvel Tokon. No one talks about the game, just the discs. Yeah. Trafalgar, thank you for the membership at the show off tier, my friend. I think you're right. It is unfortunate, but it's because a lot of the time players just don't have a way of verbalizing their frustrations. It's the same reason why you might be wondering why so often like Chinese gamers on Steam are the most likely to mass downvote and mass flag games, which seems really bizarre. But like games that everybody likes and that are getting good reviews will get mass downvoted, specifically when you sort by region by Chinese gamers. And it's because like Steam community and Steam forums and stuff don't exist in China. And so the only way that they can vocalize problems or glitches or other issues is by mass downvoting. And so it's the only way they can make their voices heard. And this is a similar thing where it's like gamers hate the disc thing. Where else do they let their voices be heard other than just ratioing the crap out of them? You know, like it's the only option. It's the only option. Let's see this. Let's talk about this. New segment. So this is one I wanted to look at a few days ago, but I figured we circled to it now. If you don't know somehow, Project Helix is, of course, the secret, not so secret codename for the next gen Xbox. It's been in the works for a very, very long time. And initially, like Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer were talking about it like 2 or 3 years ago. I think the first mention was like 4 years ago. Sarah Bond on Xbox Helix Enthusiast is what she called it. That's what she called it. Let me see if I can find it. I have to find the quote. Yeah, so like this post, for example, was October of 2025, so a year ago. Next Xbox won't be cheap. Sarah Bond teases a very premium, high-end next-gen console experience. So she described how it was going to be an enthusiast console. As you can see, the next-gen console is going to be a very premium, very high-end curated experience, which sounds freaking expensive. And that was last year. Things have only like doubled or even tripled in price in the meantime. Also, part of the vision of Project Helix was from the start to be an open platform. Remember that like the team in charge of Xbox when it was being designed initially was the same team that wanted everything to be an Xbox. Everything's an Xbox. Your watch, your phone, your TV, everything's an Xbox, right? That was their vision. And as a result, they wanted a totally open platform where you buy Project Helix and it is basically a PC. Effectively like a Steam machine is what it started to sound like. You know, it offers like a console-like experience, but it's a PC. So you can play Steam games, you can play Ubisoft Connect games, you can play Game Pass, you can do whatever you want on it. It's an open machine. It just has like the Xbox boot mode instead of just full Windows 11, so it runs a little more efficiently. That I'm not sure works today, okay? Maybe like 4 years ago, that was a compelling offering. Nowadays, I don't know, man. I don't know. That gets tough to sell. I'm gonna be real, dude. Like that gets tough to sell, especially if Sarah Bond was previously describing it as a premium enthusiast high-end next-gen experience. This sounds expensive. Expensive in late 2025. It was already assumed that they were talking about $1,000 to $1,200 console. And then the RAM crisis happened. Like that console, as Sarah had it designed, probably that console, I would not be surprised if it was in the range like today, if it would have to sell at like close to $2,000 based on what she described it as. Okay. Now, Asha, I think, is trying desperately to undo a lot of this. And there's also been broader questions raised, like in this article from Windows Central by Jez Corden, where he raises a question about the open nature of it, how an Xbox that opens itself up to Steam maybe doesn't make sense anymore for Xbox. For gamers, probably, it sounds kind of cool, like a more juiced up, more powerful Steam machine. Okay, interesting. But honestly, like if I was buying Project Helix and it had Steam on it, I would just end up buying and playing all the games through Steam. Like I wouldn't be engaging that much with Xbox's offerings. It would just be like an OEM device. It would just be like a weirdly shaped pre-built PC that I bought, you know, which I don't think Xbox really wants because they are already selling hardware at a loss. A report from just earlier this week suggested that Xbox today is selling their consoles at losses of as much as $150. So when we look at devices, okay, Xbox consoles, when we look at these, shop, okay, reporting from earlier this week suggested that this console loses them about $150 a pop. So it actually costs them like $950 to make and ship and distribute. The $100 one or the $600 one maybe loses them about $100. So they're still losing money even now on this hardware, according to some analyst estimations, which is wild. It's also crazy to me that certified refurbished was the same price as the regular one. That's wild, dude. That's wild. But a lot of these are selling out because, like, you know, the certified refurbished $549 sold out. Sold out. Because I mean, why buy the new one for $650 if $550 works, you know? And I'll give you credit. You should be buying refurbished. It still works. It's certified, has warranty and all that. Just buy refurbished. A lot of the time the controllers have been replaced fully as well, so just go refurbished, really. That's what I would say. But the reason why all of this is being raised is because, of course, Asha is trying desperately to reset the business. And she actually just had a memo, quote unquote, leak. She probably shared it intentionally, but a memo that went around internally was shared, and it breaks down what they're trying to do more specifically. Okay. So this is an article from, of course, Jay Peters and Tom Warren over at The Verge. What did they say? Quote, after a massive Xbox reset that laid off thousands of employees and spun off 4 studios, Xbox CEO Asha Sharma wants to get Xbox back to growth. In a memo obtained by The Verge, Sharma told staff that by the end of fiscal year 2027, which runs through next June, quote, we will return Xbox to player growth and revenue growth. Xbox will also improve profits back in line with industry averages. Every function and studio will own part of that outcome, which makes sense. It's almost like they're going to start running it like a business instead of a charity, which makes sense. Makes sense. Since taking over Xbox in February, Sharma has made sweeping changes to attempt to turn things around. Previously, she has cited challenges like a low accountability margin, which is just, it's Microsoft's specific verbiage. It's basically margin. It has some things cut out of it, but for 99% of people, it's margin, okay? Increasing component costs for hardware, in overextended slate of studios, which is just a nice way of saying we bought too many and they're not making enough money. And platform infrastructure that's, quote, not built for the battle ahead. In addition to the major structural changes, Xbox made Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution Xbox console exclusives and is planning to do more. Sharma has also set an ambitious and nearly impossible goal to make Xbox one of the few companies that entertains more than 1 billion people each day, which is a noble goal. I get it. And some people are like, how on earth is that possible? You want to know the real secret? Mobile games. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, that's where most of those players come from. If they can just build out their mobile games through like King and all those guys more, they could get to that number. Like, not that crazy to think they could actually get there. Because again, you got to remember Xbox now also owns all of those cascading like mobile developers and stuff. So that is a piece of this. In Thursday's memo, Sharma laid out 4 Xbox priorities for fiscal year 2027. You got to love corporate, the 4 C's of our corporation. Core, strengthen our platform led by console. This is important, okay? Because the previous management did not think that this was important. It wasn't led by console, it was led by Game Pass, effectively. So, and you'll notice, like, none of this actually, it describes Game Pass as their focus, okay? So, core, strengthen our platform led by console. In order to have a platform, you have to kind of have a home of that platform. In that case, it's a console. That's just how it is. Like, Apple could not have built the App Store if they didn't have the iPhone. You need a device, you need a platform that people are connecting with, that then they build the platform on top of to build out all of those kind of recurrent charges and the ecosystem. But you have to start with a central platform that you can build everything on top of. Like, you have to have a foundation, and that's something that Xbox just kind of gave up on and tried to just, well, we can't get people to buy into Xbox, so what if we just make everything in Xbox? Then we're successful. Doesn't work that way. Content. Grow great games into global franchises. This is something I think Phil just was frankly kind of bad at. The way we described it a lot on stream, and we've talked about this a lot, but for me at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, tell me in chat what you think. I think Xbox has really struggled to make games feel like big exclamation points, big beats, big moments in time. It's something PlayStation has been much better at. Like, you think of the launch of Yote, the launch of Wolverine, like these big games that feel like a moment in time. It feels like, okay, that week, that month, I know what I'm doing. Xbox has really struggled with it. Even when they have a big game like Doom the Dark Ages, it launches and then it's gone. And it seems like everybody's moved on already. Like they just had a Halo Campaign Evolved launch. Feels like already it's like past and we're just moving on, you know? It's something they've struggled with to make those games feel like big moments and beats. And it's kind of hard to build out big franchises when they don't feel like big moments, big special moments. To their credit, I think they're doing a much better job with Gears. It seems like they're starting to figure it out with Gears, but I think part of the reason they've struggled with this is because their marketing approach has been so scatterbrained, because they've tried to flood Game Pass and flood the market with so many games so consistently. It's kind of hard to make one game feel special when next week you've got to launch another one, you know? But this, I agree, this would be good. Creation, make Minecraft the world's creator platform. Now I'm gonna be real. Asha also had a post about the Bethesda stuff recently, right? When she made that post, let me see if I can find it. We'll do it live. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Okay. So in these posts, they describe all this stuff, how they've got all this. Skyrim shipped all these units. They've got this many hours played. Okay, it's all wonderful and great. But in the official Bethesda Game Studio statement, it outlines their actual like strategy and approach moving forward, right? One of the key things that were mentioned here, like the first bullet point basically, is we enter year 3 of Starfield. We'll continue expanding the Settle systems with new stories, targeted gameplay improvements, and additional updates while preparing for the launch of the Starborn content next year. More than 40% of players have already customized their experience through creations, which are, it's what they call user-generated content, UGC, okay? It's content they don't have to make, but that they get paid for. It's what makes Roblox so successful. It's what makes Fortnite so successful. It's what makes platforms even beyond that, like for example, what's the other big, well, even GTA with like GTA RP servers. It's what makes them so successful as well. And I think that's very, very intentional on their part. You know, I think that there's a reason why this is the first bullet point. It's because they really, really want that to be their bread and butter. Now, Creations, I think, could eventually get to that point. I think Creations could eventually get to the point where it is very viable and could be a massive user-generated content platform. But right now, Minecraft is already there. So they're just going to double down on making Minecraft that platform for user-generated content. And eventually they want Creations through Bethesda Games to be that same way. Because that's just every major executive right now is looking at Roblox and wants that. Because again, just so you know, Roblox player counts, I've shown you guys this before, but like no joke, Roblox has like regularly hit, where's the full article? Yeah, Roblox will regularly hit higher concurrent player counts than all of Steam. It's like outrageous. Yeah, Roblox, we verified this. This number is actually real. Roblox has broken the record of most concurrent players on any platform ever with a peak of 47.3 million players. And the previous record was held by Steam at 41.2 million. This also, interestingly enough, has remained consistent in the last year. So as Steam hit a new player peak, so did Roblox. Like, it's ridiculous. So Asha is looking at Roblox and saying, how do we get our own? How do we get our own? Roblox right now, Roblox stock is, oof, couldn't have happened to a nicer studio or nicer company. They dropped 28% today. They pulled back their guidance. That's why. So they missed their target, and dude, this is crazy. We're doing live. They just had their worst day ever today as we're filming this. That's crazy. And they said that, yeah, revenue growth is slowing. Forecasts are declining. They missed their revenue targets as well. And so they dropped 30%. Nicer company. What about all the grooming stuff? It's a saying, dude. It's a saying. Couldn't have happened to a nicer company. That's a saying you say when you say like they suck. That's a saying. Am I crazy? Like, I agree. The protecting predators, 2 thumbs down for me, frankly. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Not a fan. Frankly, I don't like it. Yeah, you can see this is the overall chart. Okay, like late last year, they were trading at $122 a share, dude. That's crazy. But their market cap right now is 25 billion, roughly. Earlier this or late last year, they were often regularly valued higher than like all of Activision Blizzard King. They were valued at higher than like Xbox, more valuable certainly than Ubisoft, more valuable than even at times all of Sony. Okay. Like they're on another level, dude. They're on another level. Thank you, Edgar. So this is why Asha's looking at Minecraft and saying, how do we make it into Roblox? How do we do that? Because that's what they do. Hopefully they don't, lose 30% of value in a day, but that's ultimately what she's looking at. Is she wants that to be a core pillar of their platform. Right now, it's going to be Minecraft. Their hope is to build out creations into the same kind of thing, which is why it was the very first bullet point in their list of things they were going to do as Bethesda Game Studios. If you thought Elder Scrolls 6 was not going to have like paid mods and stuff, just wait and see. Just wait and see, okay? Because I think it's a core pillar. The 4th C, connection. Extend the worlds that fans love. Extend it. Extend it. I don't know what that means. I bet this means like TV shows and movies. I bet that's what that means. I was like, I have no clue, but I bet that's what that means. I think it means like TV shows and spin-offs and stuff. I think you're right. Xbox will measure progress towards its goals in 3 stages. Sharma said, the first is to return to growth by the end of fiscal year 2027. Stop losing money. It's basically the goal. The second is to turn its bets into growth. Quote, in fiscal year 2028 and 29, our 4 Cs and roadmap must move into businesses producing meaningful player value and revenue acceleration. The third is to scale what works. And by fiscal year 2030, our ambition is to be halfway to our long-term daily player goal with sustained double-digit growth in players and engagement and industry-leading margins. Frankly, my dear, if they could actually go and like double down on their biggest franchises, they probably could. They probably could. I remember during the FTC hearings, there were the leaks, not leaks, the reported estimated revenue generated by like Elder Scrolls 6. And they were expecting revenue for just that game in its first like fiscal, I think it was 2 or 3 quarters. They were expecting it to bring in over $1 billion in revenue by itself. Not to mention creations and mods and paid mods and all that. Imagine if they're able to do like a new Elder Scrolls every few years and a new Fallout every few years, granted by different teams, but if they can actually start to turn the gears faster and faster, they could actually probably get there. You got to remember, Ubisoft at its peak was valued at like 14 billion, I think. And it was valued at that level pretty much exclusively because of Far Cry and because of Assassin's Creed. That was during the period before Rainbow Six really took off. So during their heyday, they were putting out a new Assassin's Creed game every year and a new Far Cry game, not necessarily every year, but pretty frequently as well. And that got their company up to like $14 billion in market cap. So just imagine if Xbox could do the same thing with Fallout, Elder Scrolls, if they could do the same thing with Gears and with Halo and all these other big IP that they have. They just have to make games, make them good, but they have to get them out on a regular basis. You can't take 6 to 20 years between releases. You know, it just doesn't work. Sharma shared some vague numbers about Xbox's current player base. Quote, Xbox is one of the largest stadiums in the world, bringing together more than 100 million people every day, more than 500 million each month, and nearly 1 billion each year. She also noted that console generates the majority of Xbox revenue and remains the foundation of our fandom, and that is still Xbox's flagship experience. Xbox's OS, Game Pass, Windows, and streaming become our platform for new players and developers. Okay. Makes sense. Real quick. Candy Crush daily users. Candy Crush averages between 18 and 26 million users daily and around 170 to 180 million monthly. So I'm guessing when she's pointing to that, 170, 180 million users, like that's how many of them are on Candy Crush alone. So when you hear this, you might think, wow, 100 million people are on their Xbox consoles. No, 25 million of that, a quarter of it is Candy Crush alone. Okay, so like, just remember, it's bigger than just the console. Okay, they're also counting mobile games, and you got to think like Bethesda has a bunch of mobile games. Diablo Immortal, that's part of this number too. Okay, so you got to count all those mobile games. The company is also shifting its studio system from a decentralized model to one that's quote unquote more focused around our strongest franchises and biggest new ideas. Something that's already become evident with changes like the big new Fallout push. Xbox will build quote unquote long-term plans for its biggest franchises across film, television, consumer products, sponsorship, live experiences, and form new partnerships globally, including China. These three Xbox franchises already generate more than $1 billion annually, though Sharma doesn't specify which those are. To grow its share in casual games, Xbox plans to lean on Candy Crush, Maker King, as well as Microsoft casual games, Sharma said, and Xbox is planning to invest in Minecraft more than ever before. I mean, it sounds crazy. It's a novel idea, okay? She's coming out here with a crazy concept nobody's ever considered. You have something that makes a lot of money. And then you have stuff that doesn't make a lot of money. And she's deciding to focus on the thing that makes a lot of money and not on the thing that doesn't make a lot of money. By God, it might just work. She might be onto something. She might be onto something. My God, she might be. It's crazy, but that's like, the joke is what it is. Xbox for a decade has had massive IP at their disposal and sat on them. Just sat on them. It's shocking, but that's what's happened. Like, again, we always were like, as Bethesda fans, as Fallout fans, because they're probably the best example of this, we were always bedeviled that somehow they had the rights to Fallout. They had Obsidian under their purview, and they don't make a Fallout game for the TV show. They leave it with the studio that has historically low output and is breaking records in terms of fan disappointment and frustration. Yeah, leave it with them. What? And then like, yeah, we're struggling with profitability. If only we had something people wanted to give us money for. It's like, you do, bro. What are we doing? What are we doing? So I think it makes sense, but it's not all sunshine and roses. I think it's also important to acknowledge maybe the other piece of this, which is that Asha is treating this like a business finally, sure, and that sounds great, but she also, at the same time, I think is going to double down in ways that are maybe frustrating. I think, Xbox might start to look more and more like Ubisoft circa 2013 than you may realize. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a different kind of thing. Because what I think that means practically is that she's going to start to really try to rev up the production timelines of their biggest IP. Like I said, I think she wants to codify the Fallout franchise, Elder Scrolls franchise. If, say, Clockwork Revolution does well, that's going to start to get the treatment. Gears, Halo, all of these IPs, she wants to get to the point where they are putting out new games every 2 to 3 years. They can rotate between studios, just like they did with Assassin's Creed back in the day, just like they did with Call of Duty even now. And they'll just really learn how to milk the IP that people like and that people love. So in 5 years, we may be like sick and tired of Fallout. We may be sick and tired of Elder Scrolls and be like, please give us something else. But at least they will have ridden that to the bank all the way, you know, and fully extracted the value that they could get out of it. But honestly, I think that puts them in a better spot to compete with Sony than what they've been doing, which is just catastrophically blunder every step of the way. Having said all that, though, I think, as I've said 1,000 times, the best thing for Sony, the best thing for Nintendo, the best thing for Steam, the best thing for any of these companies is for there to be healthy competition across the board. When you get a Sony monopoly, you get Sony of 2026. When they don't feel threatened, when they don't feel like there's anybody coming at them with any sort of meaningful push, they're just going to keep doing what they want to do without any fear of recourse. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for the consumer. It's not good for the studios that are going to end up being forced to pump out more and more stuff like the live service games, because you have to have competition. You have to have the threat of a counterpunch to keep somebody's guard up and to keep them performing properly. Once they think they've got the fight won, they drop their hands. They start dicking around a little bit, which is what Sony's been doing for the last 5 years, in my opinion. But if you can get some competition, if Xbox gets a second wind and they start really throwing some 1-2s, then you've got to put your arms back up and actually try, which is, I hope, what happens. Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, he has said that he wants to give them the runway to do this, that he wants to invest heavily in Xbox. But to be fair, he also said he wanted to invest heavily in the metaverse and then fired everybody that worked on that. So time will tell. Time will tell. But I think at the very least, this sounds like a plan that could work and could start to undo a lot of the damage that's been done. Again, novel idea. We've got stuff that makes money. Let's do more of that. And we have things that don't make money. Let's do less of that. Seems to be the strategy at the moment. As for the second piece of this, whether Project Helix ends up going and being an open platform again, this piece by Jez Corden is interesting. It basically makes the argument that if they were to make it an open platform, a lot of people will go to Steam. That means that they'll buy an Xbox piece of hardware, but they are not going to be buying Xbox software. So subsidizing it won't make a lot of sense. As a result, it'll need to be more expensive if it's an open platform. If it's a closed platform and they know that if you buy the Project Helix console, that you are going to be spending money on Game Pass and with their games, then you could afford to like subsidize it down and sell it maybe at a loss or whatever. So his argument is effectively selling a premium product that's just a like mini PC effectively, or a bigger Steam Deck or Steam machine rather. That probably isn't that compelling in 2026 going into 2027 and 28. Better argument might be to close it as a system, sell it more like a traditional console, and try to get the price lower to get people through the door. I think both are interesting perspectives and both are probably valid frustrations to raise. I don't know. I think given Asha's broader strategy to double down on console, making it an open platform doesn't really make sense to me. That doesn't seem to hold in line with her broader strategy. So I would expect that they probably will close it down more than was expected. And you'll notice that the talk of the open platform was very much all surrounding Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer. Since Asha took over, she stayed very quiet on that point. So it's quite likely that it actually ends up being much more like constrained. Except the formula wasn't working. Well, exactly. If the idea with Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer was everything is an Xbox, put games everywhere, we'll basically like sell hardware, but we're going to be basically a publisher. That wasn't working for them. So the pivot now is to go back to consoles, back to exclusives and things like that. And I don't think you can do that while also having an open platform console, but we'll see. Okay. Let me see. Did I read all these? I think I did. Let's see. Shabley, thank you for that. Hey Luke, it's been a minute since our last video. It's always a hoot seeing what people think, especially from people we watch regularly. Consider watching an unscripted Wolverine. Much love, buddy. Much love to you too. Hold on. The trailer they should have released from Unscripted. Let's see. Do you see? I'll give it a shot.
In a world gone digital.
Okay, man, just like put it down, okay? We can all be friends. Yeah, bro. Just give up
Dude, the no
game, man.
disc and the
Give us
Insomniac
disc.
logo.
Don't you bastards think you've taken enough? I'm gonna put you away, Bully. I wouldn't want them to scratch your finish.
Well, he's got it. You told me he was old.
You'll never take him from me!
Quick, fire up the steam machine.
Oh God, steam machine!
We got you now.
Bully,
Eat this, Luddite.
leave him alone.
He's a big one.
He paid for it. He just wants to play single player. It's my disc. I'll do what I like with it. I might even fit in the tiny hole. Bully, the tiny hole. I can heal from anything but a broken heart.
Dude, that's hardcore.
One man is on a desperate journey to possess what he paid for. Bully, you're getting bubbles all over the village. But what happens when you cut a man's final bond with reality?
Rent your license now. That does kind of kill the momentum of rent it now for a little while.
Out in January 2028. Hey, The Purge. What a time to be alive. We better stock up on lubricant, people. This is happening. Oh, there's some good things that are happening though as well. I mean, we are making a game. Yeah, that's right. Expect news in sooner than you think. Soon.
Oh my god, what a meme. I like how they just have it scratched out on the console. Yeah, just there we go. Don't want to confuse anybody. That's pretty good. The one I like the bit where he's like, the one wound I can't heal from is a broken heart. Oh man, that's pretty good. Oh, that's pretty funny. Oh my god. Thank you for the suggestion. That was good. You guys are doing good. You guys are doing good work. Much love. Oh golly. You know when you're smiling and then your face hurts. That's what just happened. Tense Sauce, thank you for the sub with Prime and Players Archive. Also, thank you for the resub. Let's see. Luke, longtime fan, as a creator, how much of your live subs cross into the main channel? Also, how's Freya? As a creator, how much of your live subs cross into the main channel? Do you mean... Oh, do you just mean like how many people that watch me live also watch like the main YouTube channel? It's actually like, it's more separate than I would have thought. Like I always thought that this would just be like the supplemental channel. Now it's at the point where a lot of the people that are fans of like the live channel just watch the live channel. A lot of the people that watch the main channel just watch the main channel. There's not a whole lot of, I mean, there is some crossover, but it's not as much as you would have thought. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah. How many Luke Stevens live from the main channel? I'm surprised at how many comments I'll get from people who are like, hey, could you talk or could you try that like new game? Could you do a review of this or could you do a breakdown of that? And like, oh, I did like an hour-long video on that on the main channel, and they just don't know because some people don't realize that like we have another channel. There's a lot of people who find the live channel and don't realize that there's more, which is funny. It's just funny, but Yeah, it's a good problem to have, like, because then you can be like, oh, there's even more. There's more for you. You just have to find it. It's hidden. It's hidden. I had another one. What was I gonna pull up? I had another one pulled up. No, that one's too long. That one's too long. I don't think so. I guess not. Okay. Anywho. Why don't I go live on the main? It's very, very long story short, but as somebody who kind of knows YouTube pretty well, you want to separate out your content based on format. The audiences are just different. People who like edited, more scripted or more carefully curated content, they will like the main channel. People who like the more impromptu, casual vibe of the live channel will like the live channel. If people want just tiny little snippets, they'll watch the clips channel, and then the algorithm will handle serving whatever you want and shove it all to you. But you want separate channels for each format. If you try to stream on the main channel, there's just a lot of people who see it and are like, I like Luke's videos that are like prepared. I don't want to just sit and watch a stream. Whereas the people on the live channel like the stream and will watch the stream, you know? It's a different thing. So long story short, live channel is for live content. The people who are here really like the format, and so they connect with it. The people who like the format on the main channel will like that, but I try to keep them tied to each other specifically, you know. What about shorts? Can they just be mixed in? It's the same thing with shorts. So like main channel shorts tend to be more high production value, intentionally scripted and written out that way. Whereas the shorts on like the live channel will be clips from the stream. So it matches the format. That's at least the idea. Then we let the algorithm handle the hard part, which is figuring out what to recommend to people. But we just put it in the right bucket so that the algorithm can kind of share it where it needs to be, you know, without trouble. Works better that way. At least in my experience. Okay. There we go. Luke, did you see Salt Factory did a 5-hour review of KCD2? I did not, but that sounds awesome. Honestly, 5 hours for that game sounds pretty brief, frankly. That game's pretty robust, dare I say. Pretty robust. It's been one of the difficulties is trying to figure out how to do videos on our end without the video being 15 hours long. Honest question, would you guys play GTA 6 if it were made out of Lego?
What you doing up there?
I'm just fixing some leaks.
Seriously, dude, you got some time on your hands. I got some properties with paying tenants.
Oh, that's why you came by?
Just go get me my checks.
See you, Brian. Love you, Jason.
Dude, I forgot about this. Oh no, it's muted. Why did it mute? Oh, I bet it was copyright struck.
Lucia Caminos. She's supposed to be getting out.
What's your name?
Jason Duval.
I seen you here before.
You might have.
Dude, I would play the crap out of this. I'm just being real. Like GTA 6 looks good. It looks really good. But bro, I would play the crap out of this. Just imagine if they did just straight up GTA, but it's Lego. I'd lose it. It'd be so great. What a vibe. And the great thing about doing something like this, an art style like this is never going out of style. You know, Like inevitably any like cutting edge game the skirt and Lego any like cutting edge graphical game is going to eventually look out of date or look old and like, oh yeah, that was really good for the time. But this, it's always going to look fantastic. You can still play the Lego games from back like 18, 19 years ago, and they still look and play fantastically well. I'm biased, sure, but still. Oh, dude, I would lose it. I would love it. Maybe Lego, let's focus on that. Can we do like a $1 billion Lego game? I think that would be cool. I'd be okay with that. I would allow it. No complaints. What's this? GTA 6's trailer, but it's Red Dead 2. Oh, is it just, it's kind of a vibe. I've been replaying Red Dead Redemption 2, and dude, it's so good. It's so good. It's like not even funny how good it is. It's ridiculous. It is so good. I also never really grinded out the hunting challenges in previous runs. I would do it like for a number of them if I needed like a satchel or something and I needed a few perfect pelts from specific animals. But I'm actually like really taking my time with it, and bro, it's such a vibe. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, I love it. Listen, Arthur, I need some goddamn faith, Arthur. You guys just walk back there and tell me about how bad Dutch is and how Dutch can't be trusted, Arthur. Let's see, 3XABY. Thank you for the super chat. Waiting on your next Ultimate Critique has to be 6+ hours to get the title. Love you, Luke Meister. Much love to you too, my friend. I will say our last one was on Mafia: The Old Country, because I had a lot to say about that game's story and everything they did there. I think that video was like 2.5 hours long, something like that. But that's the thing, is that if I'm going to do a critique for a game, I want to make sure I have a lot to say. And I've wanted to do one on Crimson Desert. I've spent a lot of time working on the outline and everything I want to break down there, but Crimson Desert's one of those crazy games that's getting updated so freaking fast. I will write like 10 pages of what I want to break down about Crimson Desert with like a gameplay system or something, and then they'll just casually patch it, and it's like, well, okay. Like I wrote a whole section about how I was frustrated with how they handled Unka and Damien, and then they patched it and fixed a bunch of the stuff I brought up. I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's great. First of all, that's great, but also like backspace, like really good problem to have that they are fixing it so much, but it makes it kind of hard to make the big critique video when it's like, so this video is already outdated by the time it goes up.
At Tony Raskin 8,227 donated $19.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Dude, saying he needs faith like it's a secret codename for drugs at a rave.
Need faith, Arthur. Need faith. Faith. I need faith. I'm losing it, Arthur. Dude, that honestly, yeah, it kind of does sound like that. I'll give you that. Dude, everyone in that game is so good. All the actors are so freaking good. It's outrageous. Thank you, Tony, for that. That was very generous. Cinder, thank you for the 10 as well. So I have a small YouTube channel, 208 subs for video game essays, but I'm interested in live streaming gameplay on games I want to discuss as well. Would you recommend starting a live only channel for that? Personally, yes, because the people that will like the video essays realistically are they like that format. They like essays. So, and frankly, when you're like going to a channel like this right here, Lego Crow. I mean, we just looked at this, RDR2. I broke the goddamn wheel. Okay, they did all this. If I'm a viewer and I really like this video, I'm going to go to the channel and I expect to see more content like that, which they have. But if this were filled with like live streams and with podcast episodes and stuff, I might kind of bounce off it. Because it's just like I gotta sift through it to find more of the types of videos I actually like. Don't do that. Don't even give it the opportunity. Instead, if you make a second channel, you can refer to it back in this channel. You can tell people to go check it out. But you'll keep this channel specific to that format. So I would recommend separating it out personally. That's what I would recommend. Yeah, you just keep it broken down. And then you'll find, like, there was a time not that long ago where we were talking about the live channel, and I was like, one day people are going to watch the streams and not even realize that I have other channels. And at the time it sounded ridiculous because, you know, we've got like 20 people in the stream and we've got 500 subs for the channel, and like, you know, we were just starting out, and everybody that was here came from the main channel or whatever. But eventually, you know, it changed and it shifted. So it's just a matter of doing that. What is this? Red Dead Redemption 2, the modded Wacky West. Lady!
I'm sorry.
Lenny? Why are you doing this?
I lost my friend. Bastard! You know where my friend is?
I'm American. This is something else, man. This is something else. It's not even sped up. That's just how it's edited. The mini horse. It's so stupid. This is so stupid. Oh my god. And people say console gaming is better. Come on, man. Come on. Dude, that's pretty fantastic. It's kind of horrifying, but also fantastic. What the hell is that? Touch on the little horse. I can't. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty stupid. It's a vibe, but it's pretty stupid. I haven't messed around with many like Red Dead mods. I think I did once, and it was for like ultra wide support. I got an ultra wide monitor and I wanted to get that working. But other than that, I've never really messed around with it. I know there's some crazy ones, but I've never really tried it myself. That's a vibe. Wow. Lenny, I'm an American. I'm an American, Lenny. Anyway. Now wait, Luke, that alone could be the video, an ongoing bit for the video of Crimson Desert. You write something, talk about it, and then cut to black screen. Update. Hey, yeah, it's fixed. They fixed it. Yeah. Well, I think realistically, even trying to not do that, it would still happen. Realistically, like there was one thing where there is still one issue. There is still one issue where like there's a golden carp. Like I had a section in the video, Crimson Desert. There's this like golden fish that allows you to instantly tame animals. So if you want to like get a pet, you go and you collect this golden fish that you get in this one very specific lake. And once you collect the fish, it's golden tench is what they call it. Or golden carp. I thought it was carp, but yeah, okay. But once you get it, you then can go back and you give it to a cat, and it instantly bonds with the cat and allows you to have it as a pet. And then you can put armor on it. It follows you around and everything. But there is still to this day a bug where within certain areas, the cats just will not eat anything you offer them. It's just bugged. And it's been a problem since launch, and it's still a problem. And so there's one really, really fat cat that I really want to add as a pet, and I just can't. I just can't because it's bugged. So it's sad. It's sad. Prolibus, quick, write that down. I mean, at this point, yeah, watch as they fix it within a day, and it's like, oh, well, there you go. It's crazy, though. Crimson Desert's one of those that it's just, there's not really another game quite like it. But I have said this, and I will say it again. I personally think if anybody could take the mantle of spiritual successor to old school BGS, I think it's Pearl Abyss. Because you think about old school BGS, games all about massive exploration, games all about raw fun, sometimes kind of shallow, sure, but they're sandbox games. They're just about raw, stupid fun, sense of exploration, sense of adventure, maybe clunky at times, but even that clunk can add to the experience a lot of the time. Not filled with microtransactions, free updates that make it better, add content. Like you start going down the list and describing like the core experience of like Skyrim circa 2011, and then it's like, oh shoot, that's Crimson Desert. You know, yeah, paper thin story but amazing world. Yeah, it's I think a valid kind of spiritual successor to it. Not for everybody, and even then I think there are still very much frustrations to put forward, and I think there are areas for improvement. Like they're working on a DLC expansion right now as far as I'm aware, and one area that I think they could significantly overhaul is just like, again, being more focused, because Crimson Desert is so massive. I think what happens to a lot of people is they do fall off, and what's crazy is the game is so huge you can play for 100 hours, fall off, and then come back and still have another 100 hours, you know, like it's just that ridiculously massive that you can do that, which is maybe part of the selling points for a lot of people, is that it's that massive. But it's one of those games where when you play it the quote unquote right way, you can have a ton of fun with it. But if you try to play it the quote unquote wrong way, it can be miserable. If you're trying to play it and you're looking for like Witcher 3 narrative and justification for your actions in the story and world and everything, you will not find that at all. But if you play it as like a junk food open world game, the way a lot of people play like Skyrim, you can have a lot of fun in Crimson Desert. You know, it's outrageous. I have nearly 300 hours in Crimson Desert and I'm excited to go back. Yeah, it's well, I don't know how many hours I have because I play a lot on handheld, and Steam has a bug where when you play handheld and then swap back and forth between your PC and the handheld a lot, it'll shave off like 10 hours of playtime, like at a time. It's really annoying. Apparently it's like a cloud sync issue where it thinks that your offline playtime hours don't count, and so it'll like deduct those. It's really, really weird. But like there was one game, I don't remember which it was, where I had like 150 hours and I started playing it on my Steam Deck and my Legion Go, and I think it was Divinity. But anyway, I started playing it on my handhelds, and the hours played went from like whatever it was, 150 hours, and now sits at like 80. Like it actually reduced the playtime, which is weird. Like I don't know how that works, but I don't know how many hours I have in Crimson Desert. I think it's somewhere approaching 200, I would imagine. And even still, there's like one boss in the like snowy area to the far west. I forget his name, but he's the one wearing like the big black cloaks, has a super cool armor set. It's freaking badass, and he is a nightmare. He is a freaking nightmare. So freaking hard. And I still have not beat him. So I need to go back when I am feeling patient and try to grind that out. It's like annoying. It's very, very annoying. Haven't seen it on Steam Deck before. For me, it tends to happen on flights specifically. So maybe it's like a time zone thing, like the pairing of playing offline on the plane and then you land and you're in a different time zone. And so it's like adjusting. I don't know. I Googled it, and other people on Reddit had experienced it too. And they're like, yeah, it's just something that happens. Okay. Like it literally doesn't matter. The Sauron one, yeah, he looks like Sauron. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Like you show up and he's got the frost effect around the arena that like you have to have special armor to handle. But yeah, it like literally doesn't matter. Who cares what like your hours played counter sits at when you're playing like Divinity? But it's just annoying. Because it's like, I would like to know. Beloth, I think so. Beloth. This dude. Dude, there's entire guides. Yeah, this is him. This is him. This guy can eat my entire ass. Like, it's miserable. Yeah, this dude. Sauron looking ass. He just hurts so bad. And it's just so like, look at the damage spends. See, this guy, I've never tried playing this way. This guy's doing the like cheese method where he's just like squatting up here. Maybe this is the official way to do it. I can't imagine. This seems like such a boring way to fight him. Just like bouncing around, firing arrows until you break him. But I mean, I guess if you have to cheese, you have to cheese. Is there like a better fight video that doesn't look so... this guy shows his like full build. Okay. It seems like they're all using the pillar. I've never really used the pillar. Maybe that's the secret strat. You just got to cheese it. It's pretty telling that most of the guides are using a cheese strat, but maybe that's the point, is that you have to use the cheese strat. Otherwise, he's just too difficult. I don't know. It's such a cool fight that I want it to feel cool. This feels bad. You know, this is cringe. This is cringe, but I get it. You know? Yeah, you have to have the right gear to negate the frost. Yeah, I've collected, I forget what it is. There's like a couple of charms that'll do it. I don't have the ultimate thing that he seems to have that blocks it all, but oh, see, even there. See, he clipped through the wall. Look at this. The stab. Look how full health. Not full, like half health. Okay. Full health. No, it was full health. Look at the full health. And then it gets all wiped out in one hit. That's this dude. That's him. He just will one tap you. And it's so annoying. And this is like a pretty high level build too. I mean, he's got a lot of health. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Vessel, thank you for that super chat. Hey Luke, recently replayed Metal Gear Solid 1 and noticed there are no maps, quest logs, or guidance. I get Kojima's design style, but setting my 40-year-old reaction aside, did devs back then simply trust players' intelligence a lot more? Well, there was that, but then you also have to remember that during that time, they very much leaned into the social aspect of gaming. So it was understood that like you might get stuck on something for hours and hours, and then you go and talk to your buddies at the game store, or you go talk to the guy behind the counter at the game store, or you some places like Nintendo had hotlines that you could call into, and you could actually call into the Nintendo helpline. There's actually videos of it. Helpline. Yeah, like this. Look at this.
May I help you? Thank you. 4800 is all busy. You'll have to call back.
Gameplay. Hi, Nintendo. This is Craig. How can I help you?
Yes. I was want to inquire about The Legend of Zelda. I was wondering how you go about getting the white sword.
Okay. Before I answer that question, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
It's possible that we might be on ABC News, okay? You and I having this conversation?
Right.
Do you object to that?
No, no problem.
Terrific. Okay, so you're looking for the white sword in Zelda?
Dude, did people just sound like they were actors in the 90s? Wow, oh no, that's one of tremendous.
Okay, well, you know where it is.
Yeah, right.
All right. What you need to have are 12 heart containers.
Right.
And that's the only thing.
Okay, I've got 12.
Well, then you should be able to get it. You just walk up and you present yourself to the gentleman, and he'll give you the sword.
Okay, yeah, I might have miscounted on my my hearts. And also, there's a couple of the graves that don't have a genie. And is there any way you can get in there to move them? I can't seem to move them.
No, that's something that'll it's either left over from the previous quest, or it's something to remember in the next quest.
Okay, that's great. I appreciate your assistance.
Sure thing.
And all it takes is just 12 hearts, right?
12 heart containers, yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Like, that's how it used to be. You know, they had all sorts of things like this. We could just call in. Of course, there were also like forums online that you could look up in the 90s, at least, you know, back with MGS1 were probably too primitive back then. But I think that was part of the idea, was that there was a lot of socialization that would happen. Like the stories, of course, of later Kojima efforts where it's like really breaking the fourth wall, where you have to like, you know, was it swap the controller port or swap the memory card port or something like that? There's famous stories of that. Kojima's always done that type of thing where it's like really cool, but if you were the first one to figure it out, you know, it probably felt amazing, but before it was found out, like, it was miserable. PT, for example, one of the puzzle pieces or picture pieces you need for PT to get through it is hidden in the menu. So you have to hit start and then look in one of the menus, and it's like blacked out. It's very hard to see unless you crank the gamma, but he hid it in the menu. Like, most people did not find that themselves. They saw it online. They were like, oh, that's cool. Or they had a friend tell them, and then they looked it up, and that's like a cool moment. But I think there's the novelty of it. There's the virality potential of it, where it's like, that's just cool and crazy. Is it fun? I don't know. Because I think a lot of people played PT and then probably never found that. And we're like, is it broken? Is it bugged? No, it's working the way it's supposed to. You just had to think of opening the menu. You know, he breaks a lot of those kinds of rules, which is cool, but is that fun? For some people, probably. For others, maybe it's frustrating more than anything. It's why, like, you can't blame people if they hear that, and it's like, how was anybody supposed to know that? It's like, I got to this boss fight, and it turns out you need to like, one of the other things with PT. One of the other things with PT is there is a theory that in the original version, which you can't download anymore, so I don't think anybody's able to actually like test it. But there was a theory that if you had the PlayStation 4 controller and you would say certain things into the microphone of the controller, that it would change the behavior of some of the monsters and beasts, and like the likelihood beasts, like the lady looking over the ledge and stuff like that. You could change the game by talking into the controller. There were all these theories of people being like, I said, Lisa, come here, Lisa. I said that 5 times and then she showed up. So I think it's tied to voice control. Like, it introduces psychopathy in the player base, because I don't think any of that was actually true. I think it's probably just a random timer for most of those things. But people started to really think outside the box and break the fourth wall, which was exciting, you know. Very, very exciting. There's a guy on YouTube still has downloaded on his old PlayStation. I have the remake. A fan made a remake, and then he received a cease and desist, so he had to delist it. But I should say I allegedly have a remake. I could have hypothetically, in another timeline, gotten the remake from a fan. Allegedly, hypothetically. I wouldn't have it for sure, frankly. But no, a fan did a remake of it, built it back 1-to-1, and did a very, very good job. Phenomenal job. And he distributed it for free. You could just download it from his website for like a month or so. Then he got a cease and desist from Konami, as I understand it, and he had to take it all down. But if you're resourceful, you can allegedly still find it and still get it. So you can play it even on your PC. And again, it's a very, very good remake. It's basically 1-to-1. I think he even copied over most of the assets. It's really impressive. And then as for, people say you can get it if you jailbreak a console. You can do that too. Yeah, that's an option. Ozzy, thanks. This is $5 for every time you say I can't read. Dude, sometimes I feel like I can't. Brian, thank you for that as well. Hey, Luke, happy Friday. I need your take on whether or not Korn Shepard should be the returning protagonist in Mass Effect 5. I think they're going to wipe the slate, and they probably should just try to start from scratch and build a brand new trilogy. Because I don't expect them to call it Mass Effect 5. I expect them to call it like just Mass Effect. They probably are going to do just a full-on reboot. We'll see how that goes for them. I'm not sure. Korn, I think it's a typo. But anyway. Metal Gear Solid had the one boss where you unplug player 1 and put in player 2 so the boss can't read your movements or something. Yeah, that sounds familiar. There's stuff like that which is like cool and I appreciate, but then there's also stuff where it's like, I don't blame people for being frustrated by it. It's like, oh, that's interesting. That's really clever. Breaking the fourth wall or whatever. That's interesting. But I also get it if people are like, I was stuck on that fight for 3 hours or for 12 hours. Psycho Mantis, that's it. Yes, Psycho Mantis. It's like I was stuck on that for like a week until my friend told me how to do it because he read it in a magazine. You know, I can understand why people might be frustrated by that. Thoughts on GTA 6 marketing? We have a stream clip that'll be going up, or a live channel video, I guess, that'll be going up soon where I break down my broader thoughts. But my thoughts on GTA 6 marketing are just, I mean, they're pretty straightforward. People say the marketing has sucked. I understand that people think the marketing has been frustrating because it's not matching what they would like it to be, right? But if you ask, like, is the marketing working? I think it's hard to say anything but yes. And we can actually track this. So, for example, if we go back in time, you can actually track Google Trends, okay? Google Trends tracks all traffic on the internet from all of their bots. And as you can see, like, we can see, okay, this is Red Dead Redemption spiking around the launch of the original game, but this is the marketing period for Red Dead Redemption 2. This is the absolute scale, okay? So Red Dead Redemption 2 out of GTA 6 and Red Dead 2, of course, Red Dead 2 at launch had the highest peak engagement. But you can see during the marketing cycle, circa 2016, on this scale, so relative to itself, it was hitting a 3 out of 100, and then another 4, and then close to launch, it went to like 2, and then it came out, reviews drop, and it launches, and it spikes. Grand Theft Auto 6, first trailer, it hits a 15. Red Dead 2 didn't even hit close to that. It was at a 5th of that level during its initial trailer. The second trailer comes out, it hits a 12. The third, we haven't technically had a third trailer, but the like pre-orders drop and all that info drops, it hits a 29. So already you see the blue line is already so much higher than Red Dead 2 was during that time. And that's pretty much exclusively with 2 trailers and some screenshots. That's wild. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. So even as frustrating as this is, it's working. There's also there's data analysis firms that have run the numbers and concluded that it's estimated they've already done about $260 million in pre-orders. And they're expected to probably on launch day bring in about $5 billion. By the end of the first month, they're expecting about $8 billion. So I don't think they need to do anything. You know, like, I don't think they need to do anything. I get it. We're frustrated. We would like more trailers. I get it. But they don't, frankly, need to. Like, it's working. It's working. Already, they are seeing regularly more attention on GTA 6 than Red Dead Redemption 2 had during the same time period. And Red Dead 2 went on to sell like 65, 70 million copies. Like, they were not struggling. So will we get a trailer 3? I don't know. I see, thank you, 3, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Eaxby maybe is what it's supposed to be. Anyway, I thank you for that. GameRanks recently made a video speculating that Rockstar will not release a trailer 3. What do you think about their views? Well, I'm not sure what their reasoning was in that video. I've not seen it, so I'm not sure what their justification is. But I'll tell you what, they don't need to. I personally think there will be a trailer 3. I think there will be a gameplay trailer. I think they will do more traditional things like that. I don't think that they're going to just like call it good. Also because I think that they're going to do a lot of like TV commercials, and I think they're going to try to do a lot of marketing to get quote unquote normies back in the fold, and people that, like, every gamer knows about GTA 6 at this point. It's the people that haven't played games in a decade that they want to get to buy a console to play this, you know? And so I think they'll do a lot of TV commercials, and I don't think they want to use a commercial from a year or two ago. Like, I think that they probably want a new one. So we will probably get a trailer 3. I think we'll get a gameplay trailer. but I don't think we'll do much more than that, like, because they don't need to. It's working. It's working. You know? Strauss already said they're going to do less conventional marketing, including TV and commercials. What he said is he wants to do really creative marketing. He said a lot of people are going to be really amazed with the creativity of their marketing team. I don't know what that means. You know, I don't know what that means. YouTube non-premium folk about to get 1 million ads. I mean, yeah, it might be just YouTube ads. It might mean more TikTok short form ads. It might mean, I mean, who knows? Who knows? But, I personally expect it's going to be a lot of like real world IRL stuff, like augmented reality, whatever. It's going to be stuff where like they go to Times Square and they do something like that. I think they'll do wacky stuff like that, but it's going to be a lot of more mainstream. Like, you're going to be amazed with the creativity of our marketing approach. Then you're going to see that it's like, oh, you went on Jimmy Fallon and let him play it for 20 minutes. Okay. Really creative. Like, I think that's probably what it is. Anybody who's like expecting, oh, they're going to do a demo. No. I did see people in the comments saying, I think we're going to get a demo. What else would creative marketing mean? I was like, that's not what that means. Saying we're going to do a demo means we're going to do a demo. Saying we're going to be creative does not mean a demo, you know. Wonder how obnoxious living in Miami will be during launch time, bro. Buckle up. It's gonna be rough. TLDW, is that a trailer will hurt the hype marketing? And what you said about how they don't really need to do anything. P.S. It's exabyte like gigabyte. Oh, exabyte. I see. I got you. Thank you for that, exabyte. And it could kill the hype marketing of people just being like so rabid for any new information. But I think honestly, if they drop a trailer 3 that's 2 minutes long, I also think that the rabidness will remain. So I think that they'll be fine. But yeah, I think this pretty clearly shows that when you compare the pre-launch period of Red Dead 2 to GTA 6, GTA 6 is already crushing it. And I can't imagine that they will need to tweak anything. Like, I think they're doing just fine. Anyway, thank you guys for chilling with me today. Like I said, we're kind of on a weird time crunch as we frantically get all of our stuff ready. My puppy is having a play date with her brother, because we adopted Freya and then her brother was adopted by Nikki's parents. So brother and sister still within the family, which is kind of fun. And so every once in a while we'll bring Freya to go have a play date with her brother. And it's very cute because they just kind of cuddle and sleep together. It's very, very sweet. It's very sweet. He is just her, but puffier. Like, he's just a little bigger and he's just, all of his hair is straight out. So he kind of looks like he has a perm perpetually, you know? Anyway, I'm going to call it there. I can't talk. I'm going to call it there, though, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me. We have lots of videos already queued up and things in the pipeline. It's going to be good. I will have some fun, unique stuff coming in the next week or two. It's going to be pretty baller, so buckle up. Yeah, no, don't worry about super chatting, Christopher. You don't need to send me money. I'm just glad to have you. Okay. Already. Yeah, we've gone 2 hours, man. It's time flies when you're having fun, but I've already got to go. It's we're on a time crunch. I appreciate you guys though. We will have more stream clips going up. I filmed some separately, specifically for this, because I'm doing a little bit of travel, but don't worry. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Okay. Much love. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Hugs and kisses. Stay safe. Have a wonderful weekend. Much love. Mwah!